Nancy Drew is a name that I think many of us are familiar with. She's the cool detective that solved countless cases in books, movies, and video games. I was a huge fan of the 2007 Nancy Drew movie as a kid. I would watch it over and over again. So since I loved it so much, my mom decided to get me one of the Nancy Drew video games. Now, I cannot for the life of me remember which one it was, but what I do know is that I took one look at the cover and was like, nope. It looked dark and creepy to me, and I was way too scared to play it. And so I just never really thought about Nancy Drew video games again. That is until recently. I randomly remembered them again and discovered that they have a cult following of dedicated fans online. Seeing their dedication to these games made me want to check them out for myself. I learned that they're point-and-click mystery puzzle games. I also realized that I was very right about them being scary. There's no way I would have been able to play these as a kid. I was a fraidy cat. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to do a video on these games. My first idea was to talk about all of them in one video, but then I realized just how many of them there are. So then I moved on to my second idea. Why don't I just play the best and the worst games in the series? So I scoured Reddit threads and looked at tons of tier lists, and it seems like the game that's consistently the most hated is Midnight in Salem. As for the best game, everyone has a different opinion on this, so I decided to go with one of the games I consistently saw at the top of the tier lists. And that game is The Curse of Blackmoor Manor. If you don't think that this is the best game, I am sorry, I'm just going off what I saw on lists. So my goal was to play The Curse of Blackmoor Manor to uncover the mystery and see why the series is loved so much, and then compare it to Midnight in Salem to see why that one seems to be so universally disliked. But rather than focusing on the obvious things like the visual differences in the games, and how one game has way less puzzles than the other, I want to know how the stories and the mysteries compare. Is one significantly better than the other? And now I am here to report that I get it. This series is charming and goofy and quirky in the best way possible, and a lot of that is missing in Midnight in Salem. But I still had a blast with both of these games. They took me on wild adventures, from werewolves, hidden treasure, and poisoning your stepmother, to ghosts, land disputes, and the worst sister ever. Nancy Drew is a ride, and I am here to tell you all about it. But first, the disclaimer. Please do not take this video as a serious review. In these videos, I focus more on the story rather than the gameplay, as that is what is most interesting to me. So if you're looking for someone to go really in depth on the gameplay and things like that, this is not the video for you. Also, please do not take this video as me hating on these games. I genuinely enjoy all the games I talk about, even if I'm poking fun at them. We're just here to have some fun. Okay, disclaimer over. But one last thing, I did get a new camera, so if things look off in this video, I apologize. I will try to fix it for the next one. I'm sure I've probably already noticed if there's something weird. Also, my old camera did not have the screen where I could see myself. So I can see myself talking now and it's weird. And so if you see me looking over here, I apologize. I'm not used to seeing me. You guys are here, I'm there. It's very weird. Okay, anyway, moving on. Let's now jump into the best Nancy Drew game, The Curse of Blackmoor Manor. See, I just caught myself looking at myself there. I'm right here. I always look at the camera. The game begins with Nancy writing a letter to her boyfriend, Ned. She tells him that she's in London on a case. Her neighbor's daughter, Linda, married a British diplomat named Hugh. Hugh is a member of the Penvillen family, which has owned Blackmoor Manor since the 14th century. It seems that after moving into the manor, Linda has changed. She's become aggressive, lashing out at everyone. She's become very ill, and she refuses to leave her bed, hiding behind a curtain so that no one can see her. Her mother has hired Nancy to go to Blackmoor Manor to figure out what's wrong with Linda. Honestly, it sounds like she should have hired a doctor to go visit her instead, but whatever. Nancy arrives at the manor and sees something terrifying. Yep, no way I would have been able to play these games as a kid. I would have turned the game off right there and never touched it again.
There's something out there!
Where, child?
Over there! I mean, something was out there.
Come in.
So this is Mrs. Drake. She's Hugh's aunt, and she lives in the manor. She has allergies, which is actually important later. There are also a few other people living in the manor. There's a researcher named Nigel who spends all of his time in the library because he wants to write a book on the Penvillen family.
How do you do? I'm Nigel Mukherjee. I'm researching the Penvillen family, and Mrs. Drake has graciously opened the library for me. Nothing much has been written about the Penvillens. Until now.
Be sure to add a part about how the Penvillen family is way too trusting. Like, they're just letting a random detective and researcher live in their home without a second thought. Nigel tells Nancy that supposedly the Penvillens have a treasure that's been hidden in the manor for centuries. He also tells her about the legend of the Blackmoor beast. Supposedly, back in the 1600s, Eleanor Penvillen cursed her husband, turning him into a werewolf, and he's been prowling the lands ever since. After this, Nigel really isn't important. He's kind of a useless, boring character. But he does let Nancy borrow his computer at one point, and his background is this creepy picture of himself, which I find kind of hilarious. Anyway, then we meet Jane Penvillen. She's the 12-year-old daughter of Hugh, making Linda her stepmother. I adore Jane. She is this quirky little rich girl, and I think she's just such a fun character. She always wants to play these oddly complicated games with Nancy. Her room is filled with posters and books on monsters. She's extremely knowledgeable on the Penvillin family, and she has such funny insights on them.
Can you tell me about George, the one born in 1566?
He lived and died. End of story.
Who was Adam?
He married Eve. Duh. No kidding. I actually don't know anything about him.
Who's Penelope?
I don't know much about her except that she was very loved by practically everyone in England, and there were a million poems written about her. If I have a boyfriend, I'd never let him write a poem about me. Blech.
I don't know, I just love how unique she is. She seems like someone I would have been friends with when I was 12. Anyway, then there's Jane's tutor Ethel, whose sole purpose in the game is to jump scare Nancy.
Oh, you startled me. You
You
scared
gave
me.
me such a fright.
Finally, there's Linda, the whole reason we're here.
Nancy Drew, our friendly neighborhood detective. Well, welcome to Blackmoor Manor. Please leave my room and don't bother to come back. There's no mystery here, just fate. I have nothing more to say to you. Nothing.
Yeah, she really isn't very pleasant, is she? So from here on out, Nancy explores the manor, solving puzzles and searching for clues about what could be happening to Linda, which also leads her down the path of trying to find the Penvillin family treasure. Eventually, she learns from Jane that shortly after they started living in the manor, she saw someone dressed in all black place something on Linda's nightstand. We learn more about the story from Linda herself.
One day after Hugh left for Rome, I inadvertently discovered a secret passageway. I started to explore it. And pretty soon, I found this really old-looking message etched into the wall. When I read it, I realized it was some kind of ancient curse. I tried to laugh it off, but it was kind of unnerving. So I went back to my room and found a note on my nightstand. And on it was written the exact same curse. That very night, I started to feel strange. The curse has been coming true ever since. I'm tired all the time, my mouth is dry, my vision is blurry.
Can you tell me what this curse said?
I burned it as soon as I read it. I don't know why I bothered telling you this. You can't do anything for me. I should have listened, but I didn't, and now what's done is done.
I get that she's panicked and all, but she could at least be a little nicer.
How well do you get along with Jane?
I've been giving it the old college try, believe me. But she can just be so strange sometimes.
How so?
She'll just do the oddest things. Like one night just after Hugh left, she came into my room and insisted I read a book to her.
That doesn't sound very odd to me.
The book was on monsters, vampires and werewolves and witches. I mean, what kind of little girl reads books like that? She fits right into this house, that's for sure.
I don't know, Linda, that's pretty typical. A lot of 12-year-olds today are into things like Five Nights at Freddy's. And when I was 12, a bunch of my friends were into creepypastas. This is just kind of normal. Anyway, Nancy discovers a few secret passages and finds the curse that Linda was talking about. She also finds a hole in the wall where you can see straight into Linda's room. Okay, yep, I don't think I'd want anyone to see me either if I looked like that. So clearly Linda thinks that she's been cursed and is turning into a werewolf, like how Eleanor Penvillin cursed her husband. Later, Nancy learns that there's this weird rule in the Penvillin family that anyone who marries into the family can't leave the manor for 6 months or they won't own it anymore. The rights go to the next family member in line. That is a really bizarre rule, but Mrs. Drake is the next family member in line, so there's some possible motive for her to curse Linda. So then Nancy happens upon Ethel and Jane performing some kind of ritual.
No key without toil, no fire without oil. No key without
What
toil,
are they
no
doing?
fire without oil.
Oh yeah, my actions ensure that my name will endure to the end. Penvillin.
That was a little creepy.
I did it perfect that time, didn't I? Well, almost perfect.
You did very well. But remember, this must remain a secret. Do not discuss it with anyone.
Yes, Ethel.
Okay, well now I'm very suspicious of Ethel. One night, Nancy sees the person in black that Jane mentioned and they drop something.
Who is that?
So I take it that's the werewolf we saw at the start of the game. It's clearly a fake, but that doesn't stop Nancy from being super creeped out and having a bunch of nightmares. Again, no way I could have played this as a kid. In one of the secret passageways, Nancy finds a forge with a key mold. She's able to light the forge by pouring oil into the hole in the floor, just like Jane and Ethel did. She makes the key, which unlocks the Penvillin family treasure.
Whatever you just found, it's mine. I'm the Penvillin, not you. Besides, I would have found it before you did if I didn't have to sit there all day learning all that other silly rubbish. What is that?
That is the Penvillin treasure.
A rock? 600 years of secrets and mystery and puzzles, all because of a stupid rock? No way. There must be something under it.
No, don't touch it!
Help! Nancy, help me! It's pitch black in here. I can't see anything. Get me out of here, please! I'm sorry I was mean to you before. I'm sorry for everything.
What do you mean by everything?
It's my fault Linda's sick. I mean, she's not really sick. I just made her think she is. I left that curse in her room and gave her allergy pills and put her medicine in a moisturizer.
You made her think that she's changing into the beast of Blackmoor, didn't you?
I just wanted to go away. I just wanted to be Daddy and me and Mommy, my real Mommy.
You know, maybe I should have suspected the girl who just got a new stepmother and is really into monsters a little bit more, but I just liked her character so much I never saw it coming. Also, once again, I feel like if they had just called a doctor from the start, they would have been able to figure this whole thing out way sooner. Nancy frees Jane, and then it hard cuts to Nancy summarizing the case in a letter to Ned.
Needless to say, Jane's father was very upset, especially when he found out Jane had done it because she still wants him and her real mother to get back together. After Jane apologized to Linda, and Hugh apologized to both of them, they all resolved to do whatever it takes to become a real family.
I don't know how they went straight to being a real family after that. If I was Linda, I'd never trust Jane again. I mean, what she did is kind of serious. But on the other hand, what Jane did does not explain why Linda got so mean and weird. So I still wouldn't be too happy about her being my mom. Anyway, the Penvillin treasure is just a meteorite that the family thinks is magical, and they're going to continue looking after it. As for Ethel, her family has been tutoring the Penvillins for generations, and part of that job is teaching them how to look after the treasure. Like, for example, pouring oil in the hole in the floor to keep the forge lubricated. But I still think it's weird that she's being so secretive about it.
But remember, this must remain a secret. Do not discuss it with anyone.
I don't know, I still think Ethel is weird. Anyway, that does it for the Curse of Blackmoor Manor, and honestly, I kind of adored it. I loved the vibe of the manor, and all of the characters were quirky in the best way possible. I enjoyed Nancy's commentary on everything that was happening, and even if the plot was a bit goofy and not everything was explained perfectly, I still found it interesting and entertaining. I totally get why people adore these games. So now that I have an idea of what makes these games so special, let's move on to the worst Nancy Drew game, Midnight in Salem. I know that people have a problem with how this game looks and how there's a lack of puzzles, but of course, I want to know about the story. Surely that has to be the main reason it's considered the worst, right? So the game starts in Austria. Nancy's dad asks her to go there to find the Book of Apologies, which was written by a judge responsible for many of the deaths during the Salem witch trials. This book is full of names of the falsely accused. There's a judge back in Salem that wanted it, and he's friends with Nancy's dad. Hence how she ended up here. Anyway, she found the book, and the lady who's helping her refuses to enter the room because she's worried it's haunted.
Dr. Hurst?
Yes, I'm here.
I love that she's just a black shadow. Like, realistically, we should be able to see her.
Hey! What are you doing? What? The book! They took the book!
Oh, I can tell we are in for a goofy time with this one. Nancy chases after the thief, only for him to do the same exact trick again.
No!
Nancy just gives up on chasing him at this point, even though he probably didn't get very far. She gets a call from a girl named Deidre, who asks her to come to Salem. Her cousin May has been falsely accused of burning down a house, and she wants Nancy's help proving her innocence. So Nancy heads to Salem and meets up with Deidre, who is super hot and cold throughout the whole game.
Just so we're clear, this is my case. I know you're a detective and everything, but this is personal. It's family. You take my lead, okay?
Of course.
But...
Well, I have done this a couple of times, Deirdre, and in my experience, we can cover twice as much ground if we work side by side.
Respect your experience and whatever, but family trumps experience. It's sensitive, and I don't want you messing it up by being too...
To what?
Too you.
So, can I ask some questions?
Like anyone could stop you.
Apparently Deidre is a recurring character in the series, and this is just how she is. From my understanding, she seems to be a fellow detective and sees Nancy as her rival. So we learn that the house that burned down is the Hawthorne house. During the events of the Salem witch trials, Judge Hawthorne lived there, and he's another judge that was responsible for many deaths. They arrive at May's house and meet her older sister Tegan, who's hoping Nancy will clear May's name. But May just refuses to talk to Nancy at all.
Hi.
I'm done talking, okay?
You never talked to me in the first place. Deidre tells Nancy that everyone in town suspects May of setting the house on fire, but refuses to say why. Do you want my help or not? She also mentions that a lot of people believe that the Hawthorne house is haunted, and that the ghost could have started the fire. Deidre and Nancy decide to go into town and investigate, but first, Nancy takes a call from Ned.
Nance, how have you been? Thanks for finally picking up.
Sorry, I've been on a flight.
Busy on another case, huh? You know, you should really enjoy yourself more, Nance. Life's too short to be working all the time.
This isn't work for me. It's fun. Besides, crime doesn't take a vacation. Speaking of which, how's yours?
Ned, come on.
Yeah, 1 second.
Sounds like you're having fun.
You know, standard fare. Nothing too crazy. I miss you, Nance.
I miss you.
Hey, give it back.
Too.
Nancy, I'll call you later.
Call you later, Nancy.
Well, that was...
Hey, so what was that about? Is Ned cheating on her? The game never explains who that girl is, by the way.
I think we should head right for the judge. What do you think?
I think you might be the ghost. So the only thing that Deidre is good for in this game is standing directly behind Nancy and scaring you every time you turn around. For the next few hours of the game, it's mostly just Nancy talking to people for ages and not getting a whole lot of value out of it. She meets a girl named Olivia who runs a magic shop and a witch tour. She talks big about her witch tour, but it's not like an actual tour that she takes you on around Salem. She just gives you a list and is like, go find these places all by yourself with zero assistance, and then listen to a recording of me saying one sentence about the landmark you found. This is kind of a ripoff. Olivia serves practically no purpose in the story, so we're going to move on to May's older sister, Tegan. She works at Salem's museum, but she also runs an advocacy group called Accused Witches. She and the other descendants of wrongfully accused witches believe that they deserve the Hawthorne house. Since the judge who owned the house sent a bunch of these women to their death, they think that the house should belong to them to make up for it. You would never know that Tegan runs this group though, because you only ever see her standing alone behind the front desk of the museum. Next is Judge Danforth. He's the one that asked for the Book of Apologies in the first place. So here's where it starts to get complicated. There was this woman named Frances Tuttle, and she was the last known descendant of Judge Hawthorne. She was living in the Hawthorne house with this girl named Lauren that she took in and viewed as a daughter. Lauren is still living there because Frances left the house to her, but the accused witches think that it belongs to them. And so Judge Danforth wanted to see if the Book of Apologies would tell him if the accused witches had any right to the Hawthorne house. This whole who deserves the home thing is kind of really confusing and also takes up a bunch of the plot. Anyway, the judge believes that May is responsible for the fire because when she was 9 years old, she was playing in an old shed and a candle fell over and the place caught on fire. May was labeled an arsonist after this, which is insane to me. How does knocking over a candle when you're 9 years old make you an arsonist? And how does that prove that you caused a different fire a decade later? I mean, I guess this is supposed to be a metaphor for the witch trials, so that's why. The judge also has a son named Jason, and for most of the game, all he really does is flirt with Nancy.
I knew you couldn't resist.
Yes, you are correct, Jason. I could not.
I'm open tomorrow night. Or tonight. Or right now. Olivia's choice.
How about 3 nights ago?
Wait, we already went on a date?
Definitely not.
Then we meet Alicia, who's a lawyer. She's representing Lauren and is trying to help her keep the house. She also talks about Jason in a way that really creeps me out.
I just met Jason Danforth.
What did you think? Kinda cute, huh?
Not the adjective I would use.
Different tastes.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like a fast food cheeseburger with extra cheese. And I'm more of a home-cooked meal kind of gal.
What can I say? I love cheese.
So you know him well?
I know him. He does odd jobs for me sometimes. Doesn't hurt that he's easy on the eyes. Yeah, let's see. I was home watching Jason cut the stump out of my front yard.
You hired Jason Danforth for that?
He's cheap, and he can't say no because he needs the money. Plus, I kind of like watching him suffer a little.
At night, Nancy decides to check out the Hawthorne house for herself. She runs into Lauren, who tells Nancy that if she could just find Frances Tuttle's will, she'd be able to keep the house. She knows that she left the house to her. It's kind of wild to me that Tegan and the accused witches are trying to take the house from her. I really don't understand why they think they have the right to the land and to just take it from this poor girl who lived there with the woman she viewed as a mother who just died. I'm side-eyeing Tegan very hard for this one. Nancy leaves the house, and then she sees it. The ghost.
Whoever is doing this, you're not frightening me away. Not possible, Spencer, not possible.
Curse not the darkness.
It's not real, it's not...
It's a little hard to take the jump scare seriously when it cuts straight to a loading screen afterwards. The next day, back at Tegan and May's house, Nancy finds an old picture of Olivia, Tegan, and Lauren all hanging out. It seems that they used to call themselves the Coven because they were into witchy stuff, but now they don't talk to each other at all, and none of them will explain what happened. And then the Hardy Boys show up.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, not good, not good, not good!
What are you guys doing in here?
They're trying their best to unimpress me. Mission accomplished.
Nancy! Hi! Joe was just, making an effort.
This is Frank and Joe Hardy. They're apparently brothers who help Nancy with cases on occasion. I also know that they had their own book series. That's where I had originally heard of them, so I was kind of surprised to see them show up here. Anyway, they're fun, I like them, but I am getting really overwhelmed with characters at this point. So then there's a break-in at the courthouse, and evidence about the Hawthorne house and the fire were stolen. Nancy investigates it and realized that there wasn't actually a break-in. It was staged to look like one. Whoever stole the evidence walked right into the room from inside the courthouse. Deidre and Nancy check the courthouse's surveillance cameras to see if they can catch who did it.
It's a shame we can't make out the perp's face.
Yeah, I have no clue who that could be. Later, Tegan and May's house is vandalized, but it's not because of the fire.
When I started working at the museum, I was curious about our town's history. Because I think history is the most important thing. Santayana said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Right?
Of course.
Well, I found out something about my family. We changed our name. We used to be Paris.
Okay.
Samuel Paris and his daughter Betty were the first accusers of witches. They were directly responsible for the execution of numerous people. And they are part of my family.
Oh. But you're the
head of the AW organization. My family helped murder their ancestors. Which is why I've never told anybody, and now everyone knows.
So this doesn't amount to much overall, but it just makes it even weirder that she's trying to take Lauren's house when she's not even a descendant of an accused witch. She's a descendant of an accuser. At night, the Hardy Boys do some paranormal investigating. They want to try to catch the ghost Nancy saw, but all they end up finding is evidence that Olivia has been faking a haunting. She admits to faking ghost sightings in town, but she's actually not responsible for the one Nancy saw. Speaking of that ghost...
Who is it? Who's there?
Where?
There! Right there! Right there!
I don't...
The three tell Nancy they saw the ghost, but not the same one.
I've never seen anything like it. And her eyes.
Wait, her?
Yeah?
That wasn't a woman.
Looked like a woman to me.
To be fair, I couldn't see her eyes.
It was a man with black eyes.
That's not who I saw. I saw a woman, and I couldn't see her eyes.
The following morning, Nancy has figured out the truth behind the ghost that they saw.
We could have been poisoned with ergot.
Poisoned? What?
The symptoms match, and it's not without precedent, especially here.
Oh.
There's a theory that the accusers of the Salem witch trials were exhibiting strange behavior, but it wasn't witchcraft. It was because they had eaten rye infected by ergot spores.
I mean, sure, I'll take your word for it. But I do find it weird that they'd all hallucinate the same exact ghost. And even if Olivia hallucinated a different ghost, she still saw one in the exact same spot as the Hardy Boys. Ergot poisoning, for some reason, makes everyone mass hallucinate specifically ghosts and in the exact same spot. And some people see the same ghost, and some people don't. Before Nancy can investigate the ergot poisoning, she gets a call from Ned.
The Hardy Boys are here and...
Oh, really? Both of them?
Yeah. You know, they're kind of a team.
Frank?
Yeah. Both of them. Like I said.
Oh, good. They'll look out for you.
Am I detecting jealousy here? Is Ned worried that Frank is going to steal his girl? Because, I mean, he might if we don't get an explanation for who that girl was earlier. So then Nancy finds some blueprints in Alicia's office that point to the water supply outside the Hawthorne house. She and Deidre go there and find ergot fungus. So obviously Alicia is super suspicious, but there's no time to worry about that right now because Tegan says that May ran away because her criminal record was published in the paper. I mean, I totally get that that's super embarrassing, but if anyone treats you differently for knocking over a candle at 9 years old, they're an idiot.
We suspect Alicia Cole was poisoning Lauren Holt's water supply. It's possible she's involved with the house fire as well.
It's not true. Because I was the one who set Hathorn House on fire.
Whoa, that came out of nowhere.
I was looking for the will, Francis's will. I looked everywhere, and I couldn't find it, so I just started tearing the place apart. And I was in the storage room, and there were some paint cans, and I knocked over the candle I was using, and it just ignited. Like, whoosh, burst into flames.
Why didn't May say something?
I have no idea.
We need to find May.
Please. Please find her.
If we find her...
If you find her, I will turn myself in.
You should do that anyway. I can't believe this. Why didn't you say something sooner? Were you planning on having May take the fall for this? Really?
Thank you, Deidre, for saying everything that is on my mind.
The storm got worse. Really? As if we need more rain right now.
We're going wherever May is, rain or not. This isn't going to stop us, right?
Right.
Hey, wait for me.
Nah, I've had enough of this.
What?
Us? We don't work well together. Everything about this is wrong.
Wait, what? You were fine with her 2 seconds ago. Where is this coming from? Jason shows up and offers Nancy a ride into town. Inside his car, she finds an old plane ticket to Austria. So you were the one doing all the fancy smoke tricks at the start. Jason admits that Alicia asked him to steal the book and the evidence out of the courthouse for her. He did it because Alicia knows he's in debt, and he didn't want her to tell his dad about it. So Alicia is definitely behind everything, but before Nancy can confront her, she needs to find May. Jason says that they're actually close friends and would hang out in the tunnels under town all the time, so she's probably there. The problem is that it's raining and the tunnels are filling up with water. Nancy rushes underground and finds May, and also conveniently the Book of Apologies too. I guess Jason hit it here. Water is filling the tunnel, and it has ergot in it, making them hallucinate the ghosts as they try to escape. Then May starts hallucinating voices that are telling her the fire from when she was a kid was her fault. Nancy begs her to tell the truth of what happened back then.
I saw a picture of Tegan, Lauren, and Olivia together. The shed that burned down, that was their meeting place. Were they there that night?
Said they were going to contact Salem's ghosts at midnight, but I couldn't come because I was a little kid. I hid inside the shed, made noises, scratches.
Did they have lit candles?
Yes. They ran away and knocked one over. Slammed the door shut behind them.
You almost died and you took the blame.
Tegan was responsible for that fire too? She knocked over a candle, starting a fire, and blamed her sister for it not once, but twice. Tegan is the worst! Nancy and May escape the tunnels, and at the same time, Deidre and the Hardy Boys find Francis Tuttle's will, which names Lauren as the heir to the house. Both groups rush to the courthouse to confront Alicia, who conveniently admits everything to them.
Why, Alicia?
Why? Because I wanted to do something for this town. I care about Salem more than all the Olivias and Tegans and Laurens combined. I care the most. We should have leveled that old house a long time ago and built new houses. With all that land, we could have a real community here. We could bring in new business that isn't completely reliant on stupid, scary stuff. I am talking about economic development on a level which Salem has never even seen.
So you admit to all of it?
Yes. Now get out of my way.
The police are on their way. You can wait here for them to arrive.
Well, that was easy. Alicia is arrested, and Nancy does the judge's job for him by telling him what will happen with the house.
According to the Book of Apologies and Francis Tuttle's will, Lauren Holt is the legal owner of the Hathorn House estate. The will makes it clear that Lauren is the sole inheritor of the estate, no one else. However, in the best interest of all parties, perhaps there could be a way to erect a memorial for the accused witches.
Then they all have a party. The game ends with Nancy calling Ned.
I got it. Ready? Austria. Yeah, I know I was just there, but I didn't really get to enjoy it much. I feel like there's a lot more exploring left to do there. Did you know Schönbrunn Palace has 1,440 rooms? Well, I don't know if you can stay there. I'm sure we could find something close by. Yes, I promise. No cases this time. Just the two of us.
Yeah, I'm sure this trip will fix all of the relationship issues you two are having. And that's the end of Midnight in Salem. So it was by no means the worst game I've ever played. I still enjoyed my time with it, and I don't hate the game, but it definitely wasn't a great game either. The plot was kind of all over the place, and it was confusing. There was too much going on, and there were too many characters. I think they could have cut a lot from this game, and it would have made it better. When I reached the end, I was like, how on earth am I going to explain this plot? Because there are so many details, and a lot of them don't really amount to anything. Also, I felt like the characters, Nancy included, were missing that charm I loved from the first game. When I compare it to The Curse of Blackmoor Manor, I definitely see how different this game is. I can understand why a lot of people consider this to be the worst Nancy Drew game. Now, that being said, while I enjoyed The Curse of Blackmoor Manor more, overall, I had a great time diving into the Nancy Drew games and seeing what they're all about. I would totally be interested in checking out more of them if that's something you guys would want to see. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to see more content from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!